Okay. So, here you go, Sagittarius. You know that when you start to get the inclinations and the feelings of, I got to get the fuck out of here, that is the indication, that is the signal that something's wrong, something's going on that makes you feel really uncomfortable. Because traveling and expanding and going on adventures, it's how you deal with shit, right? Not necessarily, far away or taking a trip all the time, but just like when you get that feeling of, I gotta get the fuck out of here, it's, you really know something's gone, something's up. And ultimately, every time, okay, yes, those who wander are not always lost. I get that. But sometimes we can get lost in our wandering. Because if we, and I want you to take this as a metaphor, like take the traveling or the journey or the adventure as a metaphor. If we basically, every time something starts to get to us and bother us, up and leave, it can be very healthy. I know, it didn't expect me to say that. It can be very good for us if we are taking ourselves away to get to a point of safety and feeling protected and isolation, to really look at the situation that's causing us harm, so that we're taking ourselves away to a place that we feel safe, but we're still dealing with the circumstance. That is extremely healthy behavior. Where it becomes unhealthy is we're just like, I'm not dealing with the circumstance, I'm not handling it. So I'm going to up and I'm going to move on to this new place, new project, new thing. I'm going to move on because I can't handle it. Nope. And then what does that do? It just, it puts it, it almost preserves the problem. Now it's still there and there's more reason for, oh, let me go. The problem's still there. I'm going to go on to the next one. Oh, the problem's still there. I'm going to go on. And it keeps driving you further and further and further away from a circumstance that gets worse and worse and worse because it hasn't been dealt with. Now, ultimately, if you really think about it in terms of your consciousness, honestly, that one thing that you're trying to avoid is actually now taking control of everything that you do, because it becomes the axis around which you're constantly making your decisions. Oh, I got to be this far away from that because I don't want to deal with that. Oh, okay, well, I'm going to do this because I can't go back there, because if I do, I have to deal with that and I don't want to deal with it. So now everything that you choose, that you actually think you're choosing to get away from that, is actually being controlled by that. It's being controlled by what you're trying to avoid. Every decision from that point on, when you try to avoid something, is actually controlled by that thing that you're trying to avoid. And so you're not escaping it, you're actually putting it at the center of everything that you are. And you're basically incorporating it into everything that you do, because it's a foundation of every choice that you make. And so now, as we head into Mercury retrograde, fun, all that shit is going to bless you by coming back to you, by not allowing you to escape it anymore, because that is what's really going to liberate you from being controlled by it anymore. Something needs your attention. It needs you to give pieces of yourself to it, things that maybe haven't felt good, or you haven't addressed, or circumstances or situations that you want to control. Maybe you want to control a situation, you want to feel in control of the situation, so you're like, nah, I don't need advice on that, I don't need to take advice on that. But you do, and this is the time to address it. And the time to address it is now, because it's the time of truth. It's a time of opening. It's a time of awakening. It's a time of Mercury retrograding, Mercury retrograding in Aquarius, which is just bringing back, which is basically asking you, does this really scare you this much? It's basically it's bringing you back to this thing with a different mindset, so that maybe it's not as intimidating as it used to be, or it's not as repulsive or uninteresting as it used to be. Mercury retrograde in Aquarius during Aquarius season is asking us to take a new, different perspective, think outside of the box that we've constructed around it. Oh, it must mean this to us. But now in Aquarius season, it's like, but maybe it doesn't mean that to us. Maybe it means something completely different. Maybe it's something completely different. It's allowing us that broader, like wide open mindset to re-explore things that we've been, in your case, trying to escape from or trying to avoid. Things could go very, very differently when you confront it during Aquarius season with a different mindset or a different mentality. So if you have struggled with something, if you have been finding that success hasn't come and that your decision to get away from it simply was because I can't continue to do it. I just keep getting the same old result, and I don't want the same old result anymore. And so I'm going to just move. I'm not going to do it anymore. But you do have to do it. You do have to get through it. There's something about this that is it for you, that is very important, that you don't avoid and find a way to handle. And I'm telling you that now this aura, this energy that's surrounding you, like this is the time. I had to keep readjusting the shirt. That this is the time to actually pop of color. No, I'm sorry. This is the time that you will experience it in a different way, that could give you a different outcome, a more successful outcome, if you just allow yourself to try it again. There's definitely something here. Share your gifts, but ultimately I saw the food, because food, Spirit's talking to me through these cards. So what message does he want me to say? Well, I see food, I see indulgence, because food is my maximum ultimate indulgence. I love food. So there's a sense of something you've been overindulging in, something that is important to you and matters a lot, but it has become maybe excessive for you, something that you haven't been addressing because you don't want to address it. You don't want it to go out of your life. You don't want to have to confront what may mean you have to reconstruct the relationship that you have with this substance or activity or person in your life. But there's definitely something here that needs to be addressed when it comes to something something savory, something that you want, something that is desirable to you at the very least. Okay, so we move on, and for some reason I was called to the Whispers of Love deck, which is the deck that I use for your romance readings. I know you're like, what romance readings? Romance readings happen every single week. They happen over on the extended. So that link is always below, but there's a romance specific reading every single week. So if you're looking for them, they're over on Vimeo. But this is the deck that I use, and it's really awesome how the cards just fell out. Romance is here. Romance. So there's something very sensual, very exciting, something that was very beautiful, very easy, right? And that could be food too. It's supposed to be something so wonderful. You're caught up in the romance of it. And this is a very romantic time. I've been talking a lot about romance. I mean, we're in the heart of Aquarius season. Why is Valentine's Day plopped in the middle of Aquarius season, which was supposed to be about broadening and expanding your mind? Because really what Aquarius energy is, it's not about romance, does not equate directly to falling in love. No, it's about idealism, the idyllic scenario. That's what romanticism really is. The picture of the idyllic scenario, the ideal. That's what it is. And that's what Aquarius energy is so about. This ideal scenario, which could set us up for a lot of failure. It could set us up for a lot of sadness and disappointment, which I discussed a lot in the Scorpio video, simply because all these ideals are so large that it's like if we expect that to be our everyday, or we expect that to be, the only outcome, then we're setting ourselves up for disaster. And that's why this card pops up. Consider your foundation. Look at how committed you are to this. There's just this sense of, do you really love it, or do you love the idea around it? I will take you back. I'll use myself as an example, because that's what I'm here for, right? A food. Every time I sit down and eat, I'm like, oh, there's going to be this magical experience. There's going to be this wonderful feeling that I feel when I'm around my friends and we're having a great time and we're shooting the shit and breaking bread together. And every time I go to eat, there's this sense of that's how it's supposed to feel. It's how it makes me feel, this wonderful experience through eating. And then what happens? I overeat. I overindulge. I eat too much. Why? Because the truth is I'm constantly looking for that feeling, that ideal that is actually not living there. It's living in my imagination, in my head. And then ideals are meant to inspire us. They're not meant to shut us down. They're not meant to basically set up our expectations for the scenario every single time. It's not. And so it's almost like recognizing the difference between the idealized version of what's going on. Maybe if something's making you feel in control or making you feel like you're empowered, say you've been avoiding that test for a really long time because you just kept failing it. I use this example for a very specific Sagittarius friend, and the ideal was, I'm just going to find something else. I'm going to find something that interests me or that I can succeed on, and I'm going to move on with my life. But the reality is, what you love to do is still very much attached to that test that you have to take. And come hell or high water, the idea isn't to walk away from it, to leave it behind completely. The idea is to walk, because now you're constantly looking for, oh, what else can I do? But you love what you do. And so if that's the impediment to what you do, the key is to look at it in a different way and form a different relationship with it so that you can confront it without these horrible expectations that are eventually going to lead you to failure. Like, what is the reality? What is the realistic approach here? How can I look at this differently so that I can actually get over this obstacle? Because every time I try to avoid this obstacle, it just sends me in a direction that I'm not happy with. And I'm never going to be happy because I know that that's what I have to confront. I have to confront that. And the truth of that is going to be very, very evident right now. So there's just that sense of, but how committed am I to really loving and building this when I'm constantly lost in the romanticism and the ideal of it, and I'm not really looking at the hard work of it? That's kind of like what those two cards mean right there. Sharing your gifts is open yourself up. Open yourself up, allow yourself to interact, almost like kind of dine with this devil or this impediment that's been getting in your way, and say, okay, this is what I can present. Like, how can I use my gifts from a different approach to this situation? Because in some ways, share your gifts is saying you're so good at this. You're so very, very capable of this. But for some reason, you've been avoiding it or trying to circumnavigate it because there's a difficulty that you're trying to avoid, but that difficulty is what you got to confront. Hard work is paying off. You could get a very different answer to your question or outcome to your action this time around if you have focused on handling the problem instead of the problems that arise from trying to avoid the problem. You see, it's about that direct confrontation. Emotions are running high, so this matters a lot to you. There's a lot of momentum around it, and there's been a lot of kind of stuck in this loop as well, which could actually be contributing to you feeling like you've been defeated. So ultimately, I get it. There's just a lot here, and the moon goes into Sagittarius later on this week, and that's when doors really start to open up, especially around Friday, Saturday, when doors really start to open up and things start to change. So if you could schedule that retake, take that test on Saturday. If you could schedule that conversation or start off on that diet or whatever it is that's been really, it's you've been trying to get over it, but you can't. This is the time to where you'll be able to see the right path, the right path of attack. You'll be able to see it from the correct perspective to actually be able to handle it and deal with it. The crumbling, what are you clinging on to, right? Even just the sense and mentality of being disappointed in the outcomes in the past or in yourself. Somehow this feeling of feeling weak just when you look at something, because you always feel like inevitably there's this inevitability, I'm going to fail, but you're not going to fail. You only fail when you give up. And I think a lot of the failure recently has been because you've been trying to give up on actually addressing this. It's walls coming down and allowing yourself to be humble and vulnerable in the face of this huge impediment. How are you being called to step up and lead? You're like, there's so much destiny in this moment for you. There's so much, you're supposed to be doing this. You weren't wrong about the fact that you were really supposed to be doing this, that this was meant for you. But you are wrong about how you're approaching it, and even maybe how you're trying to avoid it at this point. It's so close to you actually being able to fulfill your purpose. So I guess what I'm saying to you is, in the short version, you must try again. But you must try again with an open honesty, with a humility and a vulnerability. It's not like coming at it like, I really don't know it's coming at it from the perspective of, I really don't know what I'm doing. And maybe I do actually need more support and need more help, which might actually require more of an investment, but I'm worth the investment. And this time around, I'm not going to keep myself from the support I need to get through this, because I actually really do deserve to get through this. Don't let pride get in your way is a central energy coming out in this reading. So it's almost like, and we don't even think about it because we think, isn't pride a good thing? You know, like taking pride. No, this is like that self-defeating pride that becomes an impediment, that pride of, I don't need help, or I shouldn't need help, or those thoughts that say, I'm not good enough if I need help. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's pride getting in your way. And that's the warning here. That's the because lots of times fire signs, their passion, their pride can be almost disguised as passion, you know, and you're extremely passionate. But what are you being passionate about? Are you being passionate about a self-defeating thought that you accepted as true because it's the safe place for you to not get your ego bruised again? Or are you still focusing on your passion for what it is you love to do? So you're not going to give up, and you're going to allow yourself to be maybe embarrassed or maybe humiliated or just vulnerable at not being able to be completely perfect at something that you've got to do in order to get through it. And that's just like, that's what you're being asked to do. In other words, because this whole week, if you watch my weekly astrological forecast, which I don't post here, I post them to Vimeo, but I also post a link in my community page here, so you can get to that easily here. Go watch it. It's free. This whole energy this week is about looking at things, doing things you never expected yourself to do, to hit things from a different perspective and find success where once you thought you'd never get through, you thought you'd never find a breakthrough, but just by trying it in a different way, you'll find that the success could actually very well be yours. Look at this beautiful energy that's coming through for you, Sag. This sense of continuing to have hope, continuing to have dreams. Somebody, especially if you're female, somebody who's aspirational, somebody who really, really just always, you're connected to it. It's meant to be yours. It is what you really want. Well, let yourself be humble in the face of it. And that's on your knee. Like, in other words, picture a wall, right? Like, picture this impediment. Or you ever see that, Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade? Hi, gorgeous. I love you. Where it's like, it's asked, one of the final scene is where he has to pass these three booby traps, right? And he has to take like little biblical pieces, and it's just no, like the person who understands like the Bible or has walked the Christian faith will know how to get past these, and anybody who's false will not. So he goes, one of the booby traps is, how do you show your humility or you're humble in front of the face of God, or in front of God, in the presence of God. And basically he's like, the pestilent, the humble man kneels, something like that. And that's how he keeps from getting his head chopped off. That's almost like what I see right now. It's like you keep pounding yourself against this wall because you're pounding it with like your stubborn head. But if you let go of the stubbornness and you genuflect with humiliation and you get on your knees and say, I'm the child here. I don't know what I'm doing. And you'll notice that there was always the space that you could have crawled through, as long as you were willing to crawl instead of forcing your way through with pride. As long as you were willing to sort of be humble, there was always room for you. You're going to see that now. You're going to see that now. Now, music and sailing. What does this tell me? This tells me that you're looking for escape. You're wanting escape. You're wanting the things to turn to the things that you normally turn to help yourself get away. This time around, you can use them differently. Use them as inspiration to go on this new adventure, to journey and try something different, as opposed to using them as a means for escape. If you love this video, then like it and then share it on your social media platforms, because that really helps to build the channel and get Born Without Boundaries, the name out there. Now, also subscribe. You can click link subscribe below, but also ring that bell and hit all notifications, because I upload between 12 and 14 pieces of content every single week here, and it's all zodiac signs represented. And you don't just watch your sun sign. Your moon sign is here, your rising sign is here, and any other sign that you're curious about is here. And every single one of these videos is not time specific, so you can watch them when it calls to you. You can watch whatever one calls to you, even if it's not a sign you're associated with. It may be an energy that you need to hear right now. And there's always an extended. You can go there's always an extended. The link is below every video. And you can subscribe over on Vimeo as well, so that you get access to the extended videos a day before the link shows up here. And that's where also the astrological forecast is. So you'll get that right away if you're subscribed over there. And like I said, that one's totally free. And then I do join me. Every single Monday through Friday, I do live readings over on Instagram. You can find me at born_without_boundaries over on Instagram. And there's lots of great content over there that's unique, but especially those dailies. And I also post astrology motivation over there too, which is my favorite clip, my favorite kind of mentality from each of these videos that I do every week. I tear out and I put as astrology motivation. So there's a lot of content over there too. So I welcome you to join me in all different ways. Born Without Boundaries can provide you with some awesome content to inspire and maybe even heal. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. So this is your animal totems that are coming out for you now. Now, this is the one thing I want you to see. Something isn't working. Something isn't coming together. Could be a partnership. Could be just the way you're putting things together. Time to collaborate. This is almost a sense of you don't want to collaborate. There's a sense of needing to go about this by yourself, or always feeling like you have to go about something by yourself. And that could be causing this very unique challenge. Oh, wow. This card got caught up. I want to read it to you though, because it's here. This is all about help from unexpected places, or just where you thought, you were too good for it, or, oh no, I don't want to go near that because it's gross. That's where your help is going to come from. It's the little people that you're sort of looking down on that are going to show you the most inspiration and the most beauty and the most help. It's like finding that cup of life or love or inspiration in the most unexpected places. And that's coming, that's here for you. right now in this energy. The most unexpected things are going to actually open up the most beautiful doors. Tend to the small things. Something has been building, and this tells me it's been going on for at least 6 years, if not more. Just this sense of something building up over time, and it may have seemed small enough to overlook at first, but now it's shitting all over all of your fucking groceries, and it's stinking up your cabinets. And that's how mice infestations work. This is about something, a sickness that's been growing for a while. Now, it could be literal sickness, but it could also be just sort of that rottenness, that staleness, that those difficulties that are accumulating, and they're not getting smaller, they're getting worse because you've been trying to overlook them. Be fearless and bold. So this is Aries energy. Confrontation of be like looking your fears in the mouth and being brave enough to face head on what you've been what you've been missed. But really, Aries energy is about your future. It's about like, ooh, check out your north node. I want you to be brave enough to check out where those north node energies are, where your north node lies, and what will cause you the most challenges, and in that case, figuring out how to live up to them, how to like incorporate that energy into your life so that you can be the best of yourself. Because really incorporating that North Node energy is a way to be the best of yourself. That's what the North Node is for, to teach us our way forward into the future. So be fearless and bold is really about Aries energy, but it's about moving forward. It's about progress. It's about getting things done. And there is definitely potential for you to actually rock it out right now. Trust in the magic. This is Aquarius magic. Things are going to be different this time around. So it's about the future, guys. It's not about the past. It's not about what's happened in the past. Claim your independence away from all those things, those self-defeating beliefs that have tethered you and held you back. This is also about being playful and finding the joy in the situation again, and not taking things so seriously, so that you stay light and agile and able to improvise well. This is also give with gratitude and grace. Commit yourself, your whole self to this. Throw your whole self in. Put your whole self in, because it's very important to you. And it's also sort of about, there's some sort of sense of like caring for others, not just yourself. I wanted to say that, however that means. The miracles are endless. They just keep on coming. Miracles are endless. And something that is just unexpectedly beautiful. Like the cow. Like, who would have expected the cow to be anything important at all? And yet in the Hindu religion, it's the steed of the gods. When the gods take physical form, they ride the cow. It's slow, it's patient, it's reliable, and the gods want something sturdy and able to bear a lot of weight. So, something that could have looked plain or unexciting is now actually the thing that's going to carry you through. Ooh. Let's go to your angel messages, Sagittarius, angel messages, please. Angel messages for Sagittarius. Wow, unexpected help. Unexpected help is going to come for you if you don't let your pride get in the way. Trust. All will work out well. We, your angels, are here to nurture, protect, and heal you. Trust in the healing power of our love. We love you more than you will ever know. Integrity. Be flexible, but also be true to you. Stand by your beliefs and values, and others will stand by and believe in you. What are those aspects of yourself that you have been abandoning? What are they? Because those are the things that you need to nurture right now. Clarity. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in the blue of the sky. Feel a gentle breeze flow through you. There is peace. There is clarity. A magical healing has just taken place, a gift from your guardian angel. And this is once again using your breath, using the Vista, using the obvious things that you've started to overlook. They're the ones where these miracles are going to happen. Love. The heart of love is the heart of creation. All is possible through love. All is worthwhile for love. May all you think and feel reflect love's eternal truth. A commitment to love is commitment to the small things. It's commitment to the essence, not commitment to the show or the demonstration. Sacred space. We, your guardian angels, surround you with emerald, gold, and rose pink light. Surrender your concerns and worries and enter this sacred space of love and healing. So you about to get healed, Sagittarius. This old wound is going to get renewed. It's going to get healed. Let's go to tarot. In tarot, I'm going to ask what are the specific challenges? There's no more enigma over on tarot. It's what are the specific challenges? How the fuck do we handle them? And what are the outcomes? We're going to go into that with tarot, and your love reading is over there as well. I'll see you guys in the extended.